Um, Personal prophetic dream, April 28th, 2025. This one was very interesting. And I pray that the Lord would give me interpretation because at this point I don't have interpretation. Um, I was in some place with people indoors. It might have been like in an apartment with neighbors or whatever. So I knit and crochet, right? So in this dream, I had found a bunch of yarn, and I started knitting and crocheting some stuff because I thought, wow, someone just put this yarn there, and I had a bunch of projects I was crocheting, and then I met these people. We were talking, kind of like communing with each other, and two of these men who are like totally just like masculine, because even I have that stereotype that if you're a dude and you crochet, you must be gay, or you're trying to be a woman, which is not true. It's like saying if a woman becomes a mechanic, that automatically means she's like a lesbian, which is not. It's not true. There are women who just want to be mechanics. There's dudes that just want to crochet. So a lot of dudes who knit and crochet, they won't do it in public because they know people are going to think they're gay. So anyway, these two men were the exact opposite. They were pretty masculine men, and they just put out the yarn at the same time. Actually, they were crocheting, and so I was watching them, and I really didn't think too much about it. I was watching them, and then finally it dawned on me, oh my gosh, I stole their yarn. So I tell them, and probably half of their yarn that I stole, um, I'd already crocheted into other stuff. So I basically offer them the yarn that I hadn't used. And I start giving it back to this dude. At first I give him all my yarn, but then I realized some of that yarn is actually mine. It wasn't his. I don't give him much yarn back because honestly I used most of his yarn, but he was cool with it. They didn't trip on it. They just got back to crocheting afterwards. And I remember in some part of the stream, I don't know why, but I started telling this dude that I was an ex-gay, and he kind of got offended. It was actually something he said too. Maybe he was saying, "Oh, homosexuality sin or something." Something was said, and so I was like, "Yeah, I know. I'm an ex-gay. The Lord had delivered me from this. I'm shocked. I never thought the Lord would lead me out of this lifestyle. But yeah, I've been abstinent for so many years, and then he kind of walked away like he didn't even want to hear that. A lot of people are so antagonistic towards homosexuality because they just don't like the they have that attitude, and they're not really concerned with like reaching out to gays or trying to minister to them to get them out of that lifestyle. So next thing I knew, it was nighttime, and we were in the middle of the street, and apparently we had the authority to be there. So um, almost like we were doing a nighttime parade or something, and I see an ambulance goes by, and Police car goes by with the sirens on, and I'm sitting there like in a chair just in the street, just off like the sidewalk, and then there's this line of people in front of me. The dude had just walked away, who I told I was an ex-gay, and there was like a line of people in front of me, and on the opposite side of the street there was a line of people, and I'm not sure what we were doing on the street. But the traffic, apparently, whatever traffic there was, they knew they had to stay directly in the middle. They couldn't use the outside lanes. So I don't have interpretation at this moment. So I'm just going to consider this documenting the dream, and then if later on, sometimes the Lord gives me interpretation later. I send out my love to all you beautiful and born again TIs. I highly encourage you to pay your tithes and offerings and to tithe your time to the Lord through prayer and reading your word. 10% of your day every day in prayer, 2 hours, 24 minutes. Some of that can be reading God's word. And tithe your money to the Lord, at least 10% and more than 10% by helping the poor, the homeless, homeless veterans, homeless TIs, sponsoring children through World Vision. And you're going to be blessed. God bless.